Hi folks, today we're going to be talking about how to generate an SSH key on your local machine and then how to add the SSH key to your DigitalOcean Droplet. So firstly, on this screen here, go through the standard process to add all the specifications that are desired for your droplet. And then when you get down to this section here, you might be a little curious as to what this means. You might have a lot of experience with it. Either way, if you hover over this question mark, you can see here it says if you don't generate an SSH key, they're going to email you a root password, which you then have to enter every single time you try to SSH into your DigitalOcean Droplet. I don't want to have to do that, and in general, it's a better idea to have SSH key pairing from a both public and private key standpoint, from a security standpoint, rather than using just a plain text type of password to gain access. So we'll talk more about that shortly. If you click the new SSH key button here, you can see you have this input field to drop in your SSH key from your local machine into this area here. What I'm going to do is jump over to iTerm here and show you that if I change directory to this SSH directory here and do an ls, you can see I have two keys added here. If I change directory and I go up one directory and just do an rm-rf to remove this folder altogether, I'm going to delete my SSH key. And now if I do a change directory /.sh, you can see no such file or directory exists, which means that you don't have an SSH key. So if you see that, then you're all set to move on to the next step. If you do have an SSH key, this file that I'm referencing directly makes the recommendation to actually back up your key. So if you want to back up your existing keys and create new ones because you don't really have a context as to why they were generated previously, feel free to do that by running this command right here. But what we want to do now is we just want to create a new key. We identified that our computer doesn't have one, so I'm going to copy that command out. And between these quotes here, just type in my email address and .io. I'm going to hit enter, and you can see here it's basically asking, do you want to install in this directory? I would recommend that you do install in this directory, as this in most cases is where most requirements will look for your SSH key. So in any case, just hit enter. And then here you can see you have the opportunity to either add a password or not add a password. Now in this case, I'm going to just hit enter twice. What this is going to allow me to do is just trust that my private key will never become exposed in any way. Nobody will ever have access to my computer to gain access to my more personal things by being able to log into my computer and directly connect to a server. If you enter a password here, then it means that every single time you try to connect to a server with your SSH key, it's going to prompt you for a password. So it's really up to you. If you hit enter here and don't enter a password at all, you'll get this private SSH key. You're only seeing this because I'm going to delete this key anyways, and these are generated at a random in a random type of manner, so I don't have to ever worry about this getting out. But this is your RSA 2048, which just basically means this is your private key. This is what your computer identifies to your public key as the other piece of the puzzle that allows you to open the door to the server. So I hit enter twice, and now I have generated my key. What I want to do here is now then just change directory to that SSH directory, and you can see now I have both my keys generated. I'm going to jump back over here and take a shortcut into this next article, which just simply shows me the different commands that I can run depending on the operating system that I'm on. But what I'm trying to do is just copy this key, this public key, now to my clipboard. So I'll run that command there, and it doesn't look like anything happened, but I now have that key added to my clipboard. I'll jump back over to DigitalOcean, and now in this box, I'm just going to simply drop in my public key. Now don't be alarmed, your public key is not something that you have to be worried about sharing, and actually you might want to even promote it, so that if you're working as a developer with other clients, and you want to allow them to easily access your information so that they can give you access to the server, all you have to do is ideally just give them an SSH key, and then you'll have access to that server based on this public key. Okay, so in this case, I'm just going to use my email address to identify it so I can reference it quickly and know, okay, that's my breakfix SSH key. And here I'm just gonna say breakfix. Hello breakfix is my server name, sure, whatever. I'll click create. Now within the next couple of seconds, DigitalOcean runs through its standard process, creating a unique server for me, which is going to give me a unique IP address. With that unique IP address, I'm then going to SSH into the server. Now, by doing this, I have full root access to the server. For many reasons, DigitalOcean and any good DevOps person is going to recommend that you don't use root access ever, that you disable it, and you instead are always interfacing with your server at a web level or a sub-user level and not root. In this case, I'm just going to use root to expedite this video. So let's jump back here now, and I'm just going to do SSH with that IP address. And in this case, I'm going to use root, as I just mentioned, ROOT at. So this is the user name that I'm logging in at the IP address of my new server. You can see here it's asking me to identify that I want to add this to my known hosts file. This is just so that every single time you log into the server in the future, it doesn't prompt you to continue. So we're just going to say, yes, I approve this. And just like that, I'm now into the server. As you can see. That's about it. Thank you so much for watching.